Let's be fair about it. They don't want to talk to the chief executive. They don't want to talk to anybody behind the scenes. They want to talk to the manager because it's he that makes the decisions. And I can't imagine for 1 minute discussing that they've got a limited budget is a sackable offence, because if it is, I would suggest there's about 90 or 88 other clubs within the league that would sack their managers as well, because most of them have got limited budgets.
Even after their progress in the FA Cup, I did hear Spurs fans saying we don't want him here now. But
yeah,
if you want to win the FA Cup, I mean, surely now to get rid now.
So there was always a section of Tottenham supporters who didn't want him there, but it's a small section. It's you know, because he managed Arsenal. Well, so what? That was years down the road. It doesn't make any difference. He did a good job at Arsenal. He did a good job at Leeds, which they're now reaping the benefits for, aided and abetted by David O'Leary there. He's done a good job at Tottenham so far.
It's not been a happy camp. I was there. I went to watch the Leeds game. They were giving him stick at that game. The Tottenham fans, and so of course the Leeds fans were giving him stick. And George is great. He seems to just ride it with that, you know, that wry smile on his face. But it's quite astonishing for me that they can get shut of him when he's got them through to the semi-final.
Well, let's go live to White Hart Lane now. Former Spurs players Garth Crooks is there. Garth, what's been said this morning? Any reaction from White Hart Lane?
There's been very little reaction, Ray, and quite simply because the sort of censure that George Graham received yesterday from the owners here has made people get very, very tight-lipped, and they're saying very little. What I can tell you is the team and the players will get on with business as usual. They're at the team hotel as we speak, getting on with their pre-match meal. Don't forget, there's a game here today. They play in Coventry, and Stuart Euston will be there with them, preparing them for the match. But I can say to you that people are very, very reluctant to add to anything to what we said yesterday.
Can you establish, or any reasons, or what's your view on what ENIC are thinking here?
Well, I'm listening to the debate in the studio, and quite clearly there's a view that what George Graham said, is it a sackable offence or not? It would appear that as far as ENIC is concerned, and David Buckler, I'm hoping later today will put further light on this, that the timing of what George said was bad. It would appear that when the press statement was released, the club were in negotiations with Les Ferdinand, Darren Anderton, and in particular Sol Campbell. And those, the press statement that was announced by George seemed to prejudice those negotiations. This is, I think, the crux of the problem.
Well, in the studio here, Garth, stay with us, please. What do you make of that?
Well, I'm not having that. We've been trying to talk to Sol Campbell for most of the season about will he, won't he sign a contract. So, I don't agree with that at all. And I think the fact is, I can't, you know, ENIC say, you know, what George said, the timing was terrible. What about the timing of the sacking? It's disgraceful.
It's actually, it's no surprise to me that George has gone, or was going to go. And that might sound very harsh, but it would appear that the fans wanted him out. There was talk in the media before, as soon as the new owners, ENIC, got in, that they weren't happy, and they were putting names up for it. The timing of it is a surprise, but you know, I can't imagine they do it. I just read one comment saying they're not that far away from relegation and then in the semi-final. Well, don't get shut of the manager when he just appears to be getting things right. I mean, it's bizarre, it's crazy for me.
Garth, what's being said from the Tottenham fans at White Hart Lane this lunchtime?
Well, I spoke to a number of fans around the ground this morning. This is what they had to say.
What was your reaction when you heard that George Graham had been sacked?
I was well gutted, I was. I thought he was a good manager.
He should never have been here in the first place anyway, so I was actually quite pleased that he was gone, so he should never ever been here in the first place.
Well, I thought the timing was a bit wrong. They could have waited till after the semi-final and then see what happens, but, you know, that's management.
Very bad. Bad timing now. I have to wait until summer at least, and then see.
If you're in contract negotiations with players and coming out and abusing the club, then of course, you know what I mean? He's got to go.
Who would you like to see come in
Hoddle.
now?
Hoddle. Glenn Hoddle.
Nobody else?
No, Glenn Hoddle, that's the man. Only man for the job. It's about time we had a bit of stability in the team. And he's a Tottenham man, and we need a Tottenham man. And he will be there, be good.
I like to see Terry Venables.
Yeah.
I think he's my favourite, I think. Hey, Terry back at the lane.
Well, if we could get Glenn Hoddle, but if not Glenn, I wouldn't mind Jurgen Klinsmann.
Jurgen Klinsmann?
Yeah, because I thought Jurgen was a great player here. He showed me that season when he come here the first time what quality he's got, and it's proved it. He's played in 4 different countries.
Oh, speculating about Glenn Hoddle maybe. I think he's a favourite. I like him a lot, so I go for him.
What about Vialli? He's been mentioned.
No, No, I don't think he's the man for us.
And the debate will continue. Let's see what the bookies think of this now. Latest in the betting, who is going to take over? No surprise here. Glenn Hoddle, 6-4, they've got him. 4-1, Alan Curbishley. 6, Dick Advocat. Terry Venables, 8-1. Gianluca Vialli's at 10s. Peter Taylor at 16s. David Pleat, 25. Kevin Keegan at 25. Frank Rijkaard at 25. 33-1 bar. And someone told me yesterday that Chaz and Dave are in the betting somewhere.
10,000 to 1, Ray, they are.
10,000 to 1, Chaz and Dave.
Oh, that about sums it up, doesn't it? They might get a job.
Mick, they should have got you in there high up as well. They should have released you.
Thanks, mate.
So now, no surprise that Southampton boss Glenn Hoddle is favoured to rejoin the club where he made his name as a player. Let's move to the Dell now and hear from Steve May. Steve, what's being said there about Glenn Hoddle installed as the 6-4 favourite? Any reaction from Southampton?
Very little this morning, actually, Ray. I spoke to Rupert Lowe, the chairman at Southampton here early this morning, and he's basically coming out with the line that, as far as he's concerned, he's received no approach from anybody at the moment, and if things were to move, then he would expect to receive that approach. I mean, he has pointed out the fact that Glenn, in his contract here that he renewed back in September, that Glenn has an opt-out, a get-out clause in his contract that would involve the club coming in for Glenn to spend an extra £800,000 to get him to wherever he's going. But, I mean, I've been talking to some of the supporters here outside. I arrived here a couple of hours or so ago at the Dell, and basically they would be they're basically to a man saying that Glenn would be absolutely mad if he was to leave Southampton. After all, why on earth would he want to take on the pressure that George Graham has taken on at Tottenham, when of course he's very popular here, and of course he's very also professionally and personally happy here. And also the other thing that comes into the equation is that at the end of this season, Southampton are going to be moving to a new stadium, so that's all to come. So everything's on the up here at Southampton. So why on earth should Glenn Hoddle want to move?
Thanks very much, Steve. The escape clause is central in that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the big issue there.
And apparently the escape clause is for only one club, which is Tottenham, and the fee's already agreed, and I think he'll go, to be quite honest with you, Ray. I think Hoddle will be the new manager.
Mick, do you go along with that? You think that's happened? 6-4, they're not often wrong, are they?
I can't add much to that, can I, to be honest with you? I feel for the Southampton fans. Glenn's done a great job down there. Reinvented himself after whatever happened with the England setup. He's done a great job, and the fans love him down there. They're saying he likes it, but I mean, that doesn't mean to say he won't leave either.
But the crucial point for whoever goes into Tottenham, they'll want to know what transfer budget they've got. George has done well with what he's got. Glenn can do well with what he's got. That is the crucial thing, surely, as well.
Well, I think that is a basis for negotiation as a manager when you go into a club. Have you got money to spend? And of course, it's already come out that there's a limited budget. So, but listen, managers will still take the chance on a club like Tottenham and go there and have a go at it, because it is a big club, and there'll be a long. Don't worry, there'll be a big queue for that job.
The other thing as well, Ray, you've got whoever the new incumbent's going to be, he's got a chance of losing players and getting no money for them. Campbell straight away.
So could this play Kevin Keegan back into
to Southampton?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing would surprise you anymore. Stunned silence from the studio. Nothing would surprise you in football anymore.
It was in. You know, I don't always believe everything I read in the papers. I believe nothing I read in them. But that was in, and you look at it and you think, it's an unbelievable sequence of events, and then this has happened yesterday, and then now we're talking about Glenn, and now Kevin's coming to the equation again. I just, at the end of it, what I do feel, which you'll get back to, I feel very sad for George Graham.
Yeah.
George Graham's lost his job for doing his job, speaking to the press and saying he's got a limited budget, and I find it incredible. I feel sorry for George this morning.
Thanks, gentlemen. Reflect.